Hi Nat5, so we're looking at the multicellular unit, in particular absorption of materials, which is kind of important to keep you alive. So here's our first problem. The first problem is that you're big, and by big I mean that you're not a single cell, because if you're a single cell, then every single part of you can basically exchange directly with the outsideness. But if you're multicellular, then most of your cells are nowhere near the outside. So you've got, obviously for us, we've got skin on the outside, and you could argue that when you breathe in, you've got some surfaces like your lungs that are in contact with the air, that's outside. But the vast majority of you is not in contact with the outside. So you're going to need to get everything into your body, and then you've got to transport it round. So transporting it round we've already looked at, because that's the blood. But you have to get the stuff into the blood in the first place, and that's what we're looking at in this section. And then there's also the things that you need to get rid of and the things that you need to keep and get. Okay, and that's really what this whole section is about. Just a nice little picture of your arteries, capillaries, veins. Well, let's face it, that's arteries and veins. So first thing you need, oxygen. We are constantly requiring oxygen, and it's because all of our cells are running at quite a high level of demand. So we need aerobic respiration rather than anaerobic, because we need to release all of the energy that we possibly can from glucose. So our organ for exchange for that is the lungs. So we're going to need to know about the lungs in a reasonable amount of detail. You're going to need to know the pathway for the oxygen. So we're going to need to kind of have labels for this bit here, labels for this bit here, some labels for inside here, and what exactly is going on inside. Okay. Second thing we need in is food. Kind of obvious as well. So, but the thing is, the food that we take in is not actually really useful food, because you've got to digest it first. You need to break it down into something that you can actually move, because everything that we take in, the vast majority of it anyway, is large and insoluble molecules. We need small soluble molecules, because the way we're going to move this is going to be by diffusion. And we're going to move it into two places, our blood, which we know about, and also the lymphatic system, which we haven't really talked about at all, so we'll have a little bit of a side to that one. But what we're looking at there is the small intestine, and a particular bit of the small intestine that you're going to need to know about. So on top of the things that we need to get in, there are some things you need to get rid of. And they're kind of obvious. So we need to get rid of carbon dioxide from respiration. And then there's a whole pile of just other waste materials. And we just basically say other, because there's loads of them. The most common example would be urea. We get rid of that in our kidneys, and we filter it out there, and we get rid of it in our urine. But there's also a whole pile of other waste products that we get rid of at the liver, like lots of them, but not that you need to know. Okay, that's the intro.